Prince flag there with the field. Some role you call. He's what you got? I said, Joanne, I'm not actually a catch. I'm like 67 years old. I don't think anybody. You're perceived differently and morphed into a 19-year-old young man that's still practicing.
You can't bring this up? We have folks in the garage we can give to Rotary for an event. And the book. Tomorrow. Morning, take it with me.
I'm working on this now.
Where are they? Yeah. You something, man? You make me something?
Alright. Steve,
Make me a rum on something.
here.
Oh?
Steve.
Who's there? Oh, I see you. Okay. I can hear you. I don't have you muted yet. Alright. I hear anything.
Okay, so it's not Steve.
That's more. Your payment, gotcha. We're late because of an accident that's cut us all tie-ups on the Courtney Campbell. So,
Nope.
and I have you muted, but any noise or any conversation you make is going to come across. All right, let's see here.
Fire, emergency thing.
I do this recording of all, so whenever you're ready, it's done. I'm the reason we're late. Just get set up. Have here 5 attendees. Class. Just the way it is. See there? Okay, whenever you're ready, get started.
All right, are we on?
We're totally on.
Okay, good. Right, folks, the three of you that are out there, so.
Actually, it's 5.
5. Okay, we got it.
You have a green light on that microphone in front of you?
Yes, I do. Can you hear me out there? So I can see us, but I guess we're up on,
Yeah, I pulled everything up. I'm working on it.
do we have the minutes from last?
I'm gonna pull them up right now.
We'll do them first.
Gotta pull them up. They are,
You sure? So, it
I got like,
doesn't have them yet, is that, I still got it.
all these pages up and getting
Fitting
started.
place this way, that's fine.
Okay, so we're going to the minutes.
Can they see them?
Yeah, I'm pulling them up. Right?
Let's move on to the next thing. We'll come back to the minutes. The treasurer's report. Let's take a look at that. Would you? I know we don't have a quorum either, but so. We're online, but I don't believe we do.
Anyway, the budget or the balance sheet?
Want the budget that shows us where we're at year to date, correct?
Yeah.
It's better. Monthly, aren't they?
We do it by the year. I don't bother by the month.
So say monthlies aren't that good anyway. I mean, this is more of a, to see where we're at as far as our budget is. No, I can't see it at all.
Focus, I can't see it.
It's not focused, it's not big enough. It's not big enough.
All right. Well, it's fixed, I just need to, I just know.
I'm not good yet. One more, please. This is like the guy you put the thing over the, EGF. Please memorize it. Above, we're a little bit over on the collections. You know, good. The expenses though, how are we doing there? The only thing, word on Linda is what we budgeted for clerical. I think we're probably over right now because we went to actual hours, correct?
And this year, I have a feeling we're gonna be higher just because of the amount of time we're spending dealing with these teams, find out.
It's, in other words, we were seeing when we did it, we're trying to figure out what it'll be. We figured 1,000 hours at the hourly rates. If we're right, we'll adjust it, or we'll do what we need to do. But we avoided I mean, this year, and we're doing, it was smooth this year as far as the clerical part of it as ever been. As far as knowing right away, on Monday we had information, we had red cards, we had problems in the main, and knew what we do. I don't think we went very long without knowing anything. So I'm real happy with the performance as far as that goes.
That's what it is.
The referees,
Are paid through here, paid this.
what's that through February?
They're through the January game. They're not gonna be paid for the February game.
All right, that's cool. All right. We're gonna run, we're getting a little bit over there.
No, it's right on, I think.
Well, we're over it now, correct?
Oh, 88 game happened.
I don't know, I'm okay, but I'm just commenting.
Say we 84%. I'm sorry. Oh, great, 100. It's gonna be over.
Yeah, okay. I mean, we'll just have to adjust it. But we're not far off. Let's keep moving.
And part of that is all these rescheduled games, because the referee signed us in 20.
Yeah. Signers really are not our.
No, but, well, that's what this is. That's the only thing that this is.
Yeah.
Referee signers. Right, this referee signers.
Yeah, all right.
And,
But we're still below budget on them.
yeah,
We have passes.
yeah.
Well, that's still below what we estimated, right? Where are we running? Travel, we didn't figure
We
any.
didn't figure some of that in yet.
Men's, we didn't figure on.
And I put in the no-show fees, but they really don't belong here. They belong coming out of the fine. $150 that we paid out belongs to come out of
Correct. It should be a negative on the
forfeit fines, because we're trying to collect from but that's where it is. That's where we always put it.
But total expenses were 99 now.
Total expenses were at 79%.
Yeah, so 9,000. Am I reading that correctly?
Yes.
All right. It's good. Where is a clerical? Can you shoot? Push that. Okay. Well, we're not there either, Linda. We'll. Well, budget standpoint, we're certainly not going to bust the budget. If we get to it, we'll be just about there. A lot of goods in there. Everyone see that?
We'll get together the ones for next year,
Yeah.
so that I have it.
But I mean, looking at this, we're not way off anywhere. This mentor thing, has that worked? I mean, that's one of the expenses we kind of have in there that's $3,000 more than we thought because we didn't really budget it. And I don't know how I know we got them going out there, and I know it feels like we're spitting in the ocean, but I know that. Sorry in the beginning, but I don't see him. But I just couldn't make it, for whatever reason. City sent out a couple of guys to. Mentor got back to me and said, okay.
What do you do?
Well, we can find that out, that part of it, get it better. It's just, it's not mean, we talked about this last year, there's nothing, if I get $1,000 and put it into it and improve something, I'd do it, or I'd try to do it, or I'd argue about it, but there's no way to build this with people. You should put signing bonuses in, or some crazy thing like that.
Dave Geller and I are hoping to do here is go around to every one of the clubs, go over everything with God Soccer. That's what USA, and anybody, because there's about 3 or 4 clubs out there that aren't using God Soccer. So whether, ask them, well, the kids aren't putting it in, well, you have to put them in. Again.
Yeah.
So, that's the things that we have to go around.
Are you seeing issues with the high school? Reason. Well, they're starting to look and think, getting a little thin here. Lives.
Yes.
It's the same, it's similar, it's not we're not.
Well, I had a problem the last 4 weeks because Mecklenburg was taking all my young referees for his academy. And if Mecklenburg calls up, we won't go with them.
That's something we've got to,
Which I think is not very good.
No.
He's a signer, and ethics of the signing are, if you are,
Fine, you don't,
I know, but this is the thing that I've had for the last.
but that's something we can address. Can we get some help here?
Well, the problem.
Reasonable guy, it's not like he's a.
Yeah, but he's not getting as many young reps as, because I had one guy that was, and this is just an example, it happened many times. I had one guy that was assigned to 2 reps. He would just do 1 13 game. Wasn't even money, it's just that this is the process for him to go to the next step. Because this for, has done it for years. One guy did down to he did fine. No costs. $135.
Well, that should be good.
And we way over. But I'm just.
No, that's not our money.
But I'm saying, that's the reason why you go through that program to work your way up to get to that point.
It's going to really hit us in the butt soon. This right thing, it's coming, it's like a freight train, man. It's coming on tracks.
Up 9%, 250,000 more people that don't have, about 4 years ago, we had referees, 5 of them, now we're down to 2.
Now, once the club starts building its own refuge, we're going to have refugees coming around, or are they going to have refugees? So the reason I said that, I started with 4 months. They will run my club.
Well, if they're going to do centers, there is going to be a pull.
Club should never hold back.
Well, I'm just wondering.
That's why the club has to have a class every year. It's not for 1 year and skip years back. Not everybody has. The only clubs that have it. You have it every year, just so you get your, if you, the holds anywhere between 25 and 30, and you're getting, that's 10 to 15 every year. Now it's 10 to 15.
Are the minutes available?
Maybe.
I got it, on the money.
But it's every year.
I had this, I
Let's keep moving so we can go back into the traffic.
Yeah.
There before the.
I'm not leaving here until 8, so it doesn't.
Report Secretary's report, Alan, I'm sure there's nothing. Vice Presidents, Melissa. Mike, Steve, how about you, Linda?
go along as normal. I've filled out the affiliation form and the information that the board on the affiliates, but I'm having it set up so that all the affiliates can update their information online, so we don't have to type it in. That will be sending out, maybe a couple of weeks, they'll be sent the link to log in, but that, they will update it with, and they can edit it anytime they want to.
The idea is that we really need real information on everybody's affiliation form, so we can make one phone call and get whoever the two guys are at those fields that run things. This has got to do with the rainouts, the same thing. Who in those fields that really run things, just their real numbers and their real email. Now, we're doing pretty good, but we should have them just reach out right away. Know them, call them, find out what's going on straight away. And in all cases, because people flat out and they put some half-ass thing on there and don't really focus on, this is very important for us for speed of contact and communication. Is like for rainouts, vital. Because I was talking about a guy that somebody calls the games off at West Chapel. Do they have the power to do that? Some guy decided I'm calling all the games off. And if we would have talked to up there, then this is the problem. We talk to them and say what's going on with the fields. One call quickly, one of our it's done. We know what's going on. We can tell people so they're not driving. We're driving hundreds of miles for no reason because we're not able to lay our hands on somebody quickly. These rainouts, they're tricky because you get some rain one place and not another. You get doused with rain in the middle of the day. Now your fields are unplayable. That's the way it comes in here. I mean, you get deluged and your fields are absolutely unplayable. And that happened between 1 and 3 in the afternoon. And so we're challenged. But we could do a little bit better, and that's again, as woman nice up point down, it's all communication. And that's a matter of being polite. That's a matter of actually working with the people that are in the same, have the same objectives that you have, and treating them like they should be treated on both ways. We're getting better, not in all cases, but I think we're getting a better feel for for what we try and do out there. So,
well, I think most of the people that are at these clubs, good jobs, just that their communications within their place.
Yeah,
sometimes
it's true. I mean, it's terrible in some clubs, and
I think as far as the ones that communicate out to us are good.
Well, I'll tell you
Here we go. Here's the minute.
All right. Okay, we'll approve the minutes. Let's look at them first before we approve them. Might be some odious in there.
Yeah, I forgot to put those, apparently either that or I didn't link it. I'm thinking I didn't.
Well, we've got them now, so let's take a look.
The president,
We can't see.
I'm glad you guys can't see too. Beards.
yeah. This one's just,
There we go.
You guys went wild, fellas. It gets worse.
it only gets worse.
Ooh, nothing to look forward to.
I mean, nothing.
That Liverpool, that's going to happen between this meeting and the next one. That's the 46th.
So it's going along all right.
Yeah, amazingly, and I got to say, I keep Linda. Linda got it going. She forced everybody. It's like kind of flopping around, And so we got to think the way as only Linda can do. Say, look, this isn't right. You can't do this. You can't do this. You can't do this. Once we figured out what we had to do, it happened fairly quickly. We got a team set up, and it had one club. It couldn't be USA. We figured that out. Ray got FYSA after that, so we got all the stuff into them. It's all. So that's the thing that really we were more concerned about is making sure that all this was right. So next year it'll be much easier if we do it again. Everything squared away. It took us a little bit. We set about $1,000 bucks, I think we'll be fine with that, more or less. In other words, yeah, uniforms, what's some pennants to hand out to the, whatever, so it's, but they're doing it on cheap, fairly, so we should get away with, you know, budget, and we talked about $1,000, it should be about $1,000 to do this whole thing, 2 teams, completely outfitted, with, the whole thing for that. It's, we got, the trials worked out well, better than I thought. Greg and Mike both thought the team was gonna get float. In other words, you had some good players that came in from everybody, sent kids, or everybody that should have, probably missed some kids, but by year I would. We're pretty happy with the talent. So we'll see what happens. These guys have come from Liverpool.
Good, no, Liverpool has a base in Texas.
They have 6 academies in the United States, from what I understand.
So where is that team actually coming from? The US or?
No, they're coming from England. They're actually an academy in Liverpool itself. And to understand, they are not the league players. They are guys that they're training to become in the business.
Yeah.
They're not the hot players, because we couldn't stay on the field with a team. But not even that. I mean, I think they can play. So we'll see how well they played. They're going to the Dallas Cup. So for them, it's a good warm. They're real happy about this warm up, and we'll see what we get out of it. There's some reciprocity and. I mean, that's all. They're just international, so they're all 17 in the year, or 17. So that's the way we structured ours.
So that's you 17?
17s and 19s and 18s and 19s.
Now, how did you guys miss that? I didn't know it was a trial.
It was in USA. We talked about it here. USA, we had it, didn't you, Linda? It was in there for a couple months. Yeah. And we emails out. I mean, we tried to do everything we could to let everybody know on those clubs, and we especially focused on the first division that were at the top. Not that they're the only good players, but at least we knew that there was we got a good bunch from all those.
So you take only from one?
No, anybody could try out. Anybody that played in USA. Well, we doubled up on those guys. We tried to get phone calls into the we're Haven, this group, Great River, so the guy knew, that knows those coaches, so he called. And
Well, any cost involved? Obviously, it's something we're going to do every year.
it's hard to give them an enhanced soccer experience in USA. So you belong to USA, you're going to play some international teams, perhaps, if we keep doing that. And we're going to get in with the Rowdies or with the professional teams in the area. And we're just, we're trying to see how that fits for us. The idea would be, ultimately, that you have a permanent team, like it would be a national team that would come some days from USA, and get would play professionals, would be coached by professionals, be overseen by the professionals, so that the argument is you got to get seen, right? That's why you pay $6,000 for soccer. Our argument is, if we can get something like this, we'll put you in front of professional coaches. If you're good, they're looking for you.
It's a showcase down here. IMG has, it's not just
somehow the parents don't get that, and I understand the whole thing. I get it. But the fact is, if you continue to do it year in and year out, if it's a direct line to the pros, in other words, this is a professional team. If you're good, that's they're looking for you.
plenty of teams that come into this area. Like I said, Ron came in this area, they play every game.
Right. What's been sold to everybody is if you don't belong to some of these clubs, that you'll never get seen. That's the scene. And seen is a funny word. It's fact is that you can get, if you're upwardly mobile, both the college coaches are dying. I mean, they're looking, that's their job, depends on finding those kids. You're there, and so if you're out there in this program, and this is the first kind of even doing anything, then if you can play, and there's kids that aren't going to go to college. We have, I mean, where we have a lot of those kids actually. Some of them shown up from Columbia at 14 or 13 or whatever, and you know they're not. Their English skills are not as great as they could be, or whatever. We have a bunch of clubs that would fall in it, who could have those players, and you know possibly fall into that category. I don't know if it does. If we offer it, it's to say, listen, you guys playing in that league. Well, we want, you know, that's what we're trying to get to, and we'll see if that really works. But that's the concept. Is we start with this. We organized it this year. We learned a lot as far as what we needed to do and how they needed to be put together. How they needed to do that. So do we have a motion to approve? I don't think we can approve the minutes anyway. Then we don't have a quorum. Two.
Yeah, one.
Yeah. I was.
Yeah, I was just saying, you get.
All right, so President's report, I've got nothing to report really. I think what we're talking about is really what the most that we going on. We're going to have elections, I think, you told me there's 3 slots open on our board, because I think we appointed Alan last year of, did he get elected? Well, from him, but the guy that was elected, I think he was elected the year, it was myself, and
Yeah, he would have been up.
Mike, maybe? Mike, though, it was the other guy who resigned right away, right?
Yeah.
So is it the
Yeah, Matt.
Mike, himself, and I believe
You're right. I'll double check, but I believe.
BP for, well, maybe not. You just went, right, last, so you're not up. What's your roster?
I don't remember.
Why, Sherry?
I dig up, we'll post it on the website. I'm not.
I think you did. I think you were elected last night. You were in,
All the years.
was it, I think, at that point. And, stand for election. He gets appointed. Mary appointed, who Hurt gets appointed. Elected positions, 3 and 2 every year. Am I correct in assuming that?
I think so.
I think we've got 3, and we got to figure that out before by maybe next meeting. Get some fun running these spots, you know. 5 elected positions, and then there's 3 appointed positions. There's open board, so you've got the treasurer, the secretary, 3 vice presidents, the president, 6 elected positions. There are 2 open board positions. That is Merritt and Kurt, and then Frank. There's a president. Frank's really not the past president, but we appointed him because he's a lot. So we put there as the only functioning past president we've had. And he, both he and Merritt are in touch. Dave, we've got contacts there. Frank. Yeah, well, Frank's been around long. I think he served more than one. But anyway, so.
It is the president, vice president, boys, and secretary.
Okay, so you're in for and Alan.
I've numbered 2.
So Mike, Brian, and Steve are not in for an election. I asked everybody to let me know something, but I anybody's doing. All kind of,
Can you hear me?
yes. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I recall I was voted in for a 2-year term last year. That's all I know from me.
That's correct. You, Mike, and Brian. President spot, VP
Okay.
of Boys, and secretary. Suzanne was appointed to. We find, everybody's open to nominate people. I like the fact that you have board nominate. I mean, I think people just gotta say they're gonna do it. The board, almost like we're endorsing something. No, we shouldn't. That should be an open, swabble. Wants to do it. Do all a lot of good to have more people, different people. Seems to get, we seem to get more. Well, you get a lot of, nobody's got a lot, nobody has a lot of time after I finish, so, let's face it, man. Really, it's just, ADHD.
These are the outstanding, reports. Everybody has been notified, the clubs are notified. A lot of these kids appear to still be playing, and I'm not hearing back from them.
What do we do about that?
Dallas County United, John Bodrob, as far as I can tell, he's been playing. He put that out the game, they just haven't bothered to send us. But he's.
What do you need?
Well, he may not have served this.
Cause he's one of those kids that are older, so what do you need from Kai?
Proof that he served his red card.
Yeah, everybody has rejected. That on the game
I don't think
report.
he showed up at all.
Since then, may not have served.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, y'all are missing how games are served. Okay, the kid isn't there, therefore he served the game.
Right.
Doesn't have to be anywhere to serve it.
You just wanna know if he wasn't. He got a red card.
So that team has played, whether that kid intends to come or not, doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
You should write it down.
Right. But if no one's written it down because he's not there to serve.
When those teams check in, the rest goes through and marks the people off. And usually the rest help on their game report. And that's the reason we got the one, is because the rest said he wasn't there. He was serving a red card. And it's the coach's responsibility to make sure that whatever games it is, that kid is not on the field and it is notated and sent to USA. The kid has to be there to serve it. It's that the kid cannot be on the pitch during the game.
But that's not the point. The point is it hasn't.
And we proved it. Yeah, nobody can tell you responded. I sent it to him. No.
I've seen it. I think the last one, take a picture of it. Take a picture
I
of
want a game report, and game reports are,
I get to just ask him for a game report.
and they go right here where it says submit it.
Right.
If you come here,
Okay.
you go to the thing, report of suspension served, click on, you put in very basic information and upload the file. And the reason I have it uploaded, especially, not email, now this is the second week where I have communication from the region committee on proof that somebody served, and I have to go into, I went in the database and I can find it. But if it's email, it ain't gonna be there. If you email to Sherry, it's not in here. If you email to me, it's not in here. But I need to be able to prove when they call that they served the suspension. So important, we follow this is where we keep it.
It's in there, and they're calling from Region 6.
That kid ain't playing.
The kid ain't playing.
Kid ain't playing.
He'll be excluded. Yeah.
Exactly.
Period.
In there, I understand, the referee to verify that that's true.
It's,
Oh, he's not there, or he's not playing.
He's supposed to note it on the report.
Mhm.
But has to notify that.
That he's
Oh, the
served.
court still has to notify you.
Right.
Okay.
yeah.
Well, you're very nice. If my players, one player a red card, have to come to the game and sit down. It's not,
Well, that's the way you serve.
There's a problem with that, because it looks like on the other game, maybe he wasn't there, it looked like he played. So if you,
Well, that's what it checks in.
you see, it looks like he played. Fortunately, in your case, he didn't, but some could say, oh, he was ejected on the 1st of February. On the 2nd of February, he had a game, and then he sat on the 3rd of February. Therefore, he played on the 2nd of February. You see the problem with that?
yeah, luckily, the policy, they followed it, so they come and sit down.
It's just, it are specifically USSF. It is from the next game. That's federation. It's when you want them to come serve it,
How many we have right now that,
it's right
yeah,
there already.
okay.
It's the website.
Can anybody see that?
No, I can't see.
Well, okay, but if I can figure, you will see them all.
Someone count them.
I know we're waiting for Dave DiTilio to give us a game report. We've already heard from DiTilio. Talked about Rob. Bill has not gotten back with me. I do believe that, this one from Northeast, but all the rest of these have been a while. Dan has not responded to my email.
How many are there?
Whatever there is, 11.
Okay.
That is the best we've ever had. Four of which are Minnesota. Only 11 in Minnesota. Correct.
Well, it's all, it's 2 teams.
This is what remaining. I'm not showing you all the red cards this year. I'm just showing you what.
No, but at least we've, that's bad.
We're not bad, we've
Well,
been,
you've been hounding them,
I've been hounding. I've been hounding.
Oh,
All right, now good question, but we don't report it for each game they served, right? Like if there's a 4-game suspension, we just report it 4 games, or well, each time, or as we report when fully served.
When a game is served, you submit it.
She didn't know that. Okay.
You don't have any
Your law.
stragglers on there, though, I don't think.
It's a game report.
It's the game report, and you don't have to wait, because we've got it listed. Let me go.
So it goes down from 4, 3.
You see, these are the dates that it's served. So you see that this one here from First Fernando, 4 games. You see this game against.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
Report. Because you have no idea. If you wait and do what you just said, it looks like the kid is playing.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. All right. So everybody said a game.
Thank you.
At the same time, Linda, you're gonna look for the referees report.
No, for the coach to give me a game report.
So then you just trust the fact that,
If Brad reported it on a game report, I go ahead and mark it down.
But here's the whole thing. Every report should have it listed. That's why the coach sends it.
Mhm.
So referee's doing his job. He gives the coach, here,
yeah.
he sends it.
I'm gonna show you.
So then the coach has to basically upload the document. Send it to you, right?
Yeah, he uploaded it. And this is what it will look like. I mean, I'm just pulling up one right here. Just pulling it up one. Okay, this is a Region Cup one, I think. Oh, yeah, this is a Region Cup one. And see, it's all written on here from the Region Cup committee. I'm sorry, it's sideways, that's the way they uploaded it. But it's there. And Sherry and I had access to this, so when we get questions, as we have, we see these up. I have to send them to DiTilio.
Well, I mean, that's with 11 kids, that ain't bad.
11 what? Yeah, I
This
mean,
day and age, great.
I think it's good.
All right.
Man,
That's a red card site, we got that one in, and Frank, we understand we have a reports, president's report.
Yes,
You're on.
they will begin this weekend. Red card should have been updated. All coaches should have read rules of competition.
Should, that's a big,
Like all USA assignments, submit 3 male and 3 female candidates for referee of the year to FYSA prior to June 1st.
good,
That's all I have.
very good, very good. Frank. All right, new business, Joe and Judd applications due by the 14th of March.
And they're coming in quite well.
Okay, good. How many have we, have any idea how many you've got?
Oh, I just.
Well, it doesn't matter, the committee will sort through them for us and help
Yeah.
us.
I just looked at it.
And we went into great detail Saturday at our planning committee on the changes that we made in it, so we're not gonna repeat it here, but, not say that we got $1,000, we believe in the past, we have, named about $350,000 scholarships USA has during the doing this, and, it represents 10,000 more than anybody else where in any place I know in the state of Florida that's a league gives to anybody. So I think we're we're share for sure. It's gonna be there's gonna be more children than there are more players, isn't it? More than $500. And that's the committee said, well, geez, can't we give them all, which would have knocked down the 10,000 to $55, $80 or whatever it is. I would do that. That was what ended up at a minimum of 500. Actually, had a suggestion, but they didn't like it. It was to make 2 biggies. So they matched them. So, for 1 year, a kid would actually get $5,000 or whatever it was. So it would impact them, and they just feel comfortable with that. Their business and see. The thing with the committee, I think we're just going to have to get a better or clearer delineation of what the parameters are of the choice of not excluding people. Got to think at least tell them here's what's important. Years played in US, I don't know, grades, X with referees. Yeah, I think in some kind of order of importance, so that someone has a clear idea of why, where you stand. One of the things we try to de-emphasize, was the written part, because, this is an English exam. And, I think that we'd like to know, but I mean, it's not a, contest. It's for the kids that have played and that have given time and energy and how long. We can even track now how long they've been in USA. So even that parameter of something for years, that's something. We're trying to get some kind of ordinal ranking, that committee, or we'll have to do it. So this line of why 5 of 10 they get somebody $500. I'm sure we're not going to sue them. So good to have it outlined.
Do we verify that money goes to the college?
No, the money goes.
Money to the child, but we have the acceptance part of it is we have to see acceptance from a university and attendance too. Is it? No. We give them the money before they attend.
Yeah, that's the key on what.
It's a grant and it is not a scholarship. A scholarship goes directly to this grant that goes to the player.
Other things that are going on right now for a lot of the high school seniors are a lot of them are grants. And same procedure here because not at school.
But they have to demonstrate to us that they have been accepted at a university, a college. That's the part of it.
He's going to advocate. Actually, have full right in San Diego. And he decided not to go to San Diego.
It doesn't matter where they go. If they don't go at all.
What I'm saying, why did you decide to take a year off and end up in the second?
Well, we would never know it. That's
Exactly right, we never know.
So,
The grant.
so we don't. The answer is we aren't. We just $500 just got wasted.
Other kids who get grants that say they get grants of $20,000. What let's say they go to the state school, and they eat that.
But we proved they actually attended, we just don't have the letter for that. And the reporting things, I mean, you know.
That's not something you actually want to say.
Yeah.
The committee can do it if they want, that would be good, but, I can't see anybody following up and calling to make sure that they're at the school, when they're at the, calling the school and saying, do they ever matriculate? Could be.
Just mentioning the fact that they were doing something like that, basically, in the books or whatever it is.
Well,
Then,
or whatever,
School probably would.
could go for gas, or, $100 was some, 20 years ago when we started, $500 was a little bit more, you know, and then we had $3 or something when we started, so maybe we could fine tune it at some point, there's, you know,
We're talking about, USF giving.
been over 350,000, I think that's
Yeah,
what
that's
it's
what we
called,
come up with.
scholarships.
How many of them actually, the repurpose of it?
Well, we would like you to do that survey here.
Now, I want to get back to us next week.
86%. But I'll stay with it. I swear on it. You torture me, it's still gonna be 86%.
To me, if they meet the requirement, it's $500.
Yeah, and
Really, $500.
and they're showing us that
Not by a lot.
they were admitted to a university too, so I mean, it's,
Right.
they choose not to.
They've already, they have to show us a copy of
Yeah.
their canceled check that they
If
applied.
they meet the requirements, I don't think,
Yeah.
it's a big deal.
We're,
If they're going to college or not, if they meet the requirements, unless you meet the requirements,
I agree. I'd like them to go. I mean,
you guys do a lot more than that.
$350,000 for over 20 years is pretty
We don't
amazing.
give nothing to our kids there.
No, next question, is there, have you been exposing that? That's a great thing.
Went on the website again, I don't think anything.
Not just your
I don't think anything we do.
It was emailed to the club and all the coaches.
No.
The total.
With the deed that you are doing, I think,
It's on,
It's on the website.
that's what, you know, I.
Yeah, we don't, I mean,
in the past, I've done the press release there. Yeah, taking a picture of the recipients and everything, put it in.
No, I was thinking, for instance, $300,000.
no, I mean, it's,
Because different areas, I think that's
Yeah.
a thing for.
you know, I just don't think anything we do is gonna matter as much as, me telling you that your kid's gonna get seen. USA has really done a poor job in explaining to everybody exactly what we do and why we do. We had 3,200 games this year. We conducted. It's incredible. I don't know, that's the largest in the state, probably isn't, but we did them. We've got everything covered. I mean, it's from a administrative standpoint. If there's anything better run than this right now, I'd like to see it. It really is. I mean, soccer has helped a lot, but also Sherry and are, you know, we're running. The good thing to be in, it doesn't pay some businesses to be in this thing because you're trying to compete against other people. If you got a business, it may not make as much sense as a club. You're a club. It's okay. We're gonna have to live with that dichotomy in soccer. We have businesses, we have clubs, and we got everything in between. And that's the landscape. We're not gonna go back. It's, you know, we've opened Pandora's box. We ain't gonna put it back in again. So, UAE, I don't think has done a good job with some of the businesses to explain to them why it would be in their best interest to play. Because they're no better. They're not doing well. If you look at the state, in every year, last 2 years or 3 years, I've gone through the state 16, you know, in this area. How many teams from area maybe? Amen. I mean, it's for all teams that are telling you this and that and everything else. That's the final thing. You either, you know, you put the gloves on and get in the ring, you say you do. All the talk in the world ain't gonna do anything. When you see it breaks down, it's very really, it's breathtaking how small an amount is that's making the final 16. And they've got an argument in the final 16 as to why to play in fill in the blank. You got an argument, I think. But final four, you got a real argument. There's a couple.
Next time you had anything that was in this area was when RSL was around, and they had 8 teams in the
They had a tremendous year there, no doubt about it. But when you look at the total, in our region, when you look at the totals, we're astounded as to how ordinary, to how few teams actually have made it into the final 16. Compared to the amount of teams that play in all these superior final 16, let's face it. You don't have an argument that you're so good you shouldn't be playing against us much. It's just bad for business. We understand that the teams aren't any better, and I think we've done a very good job negotiating with these other clubs and appealing them, and I think that they have a reason for it, beyond our ability to overcome. Right. But I think we've done a poor job also in getting past that to the parents to explain that, because the parents, I mean, the older playing in USA, the parents are throwing themselves on their spears, They're ready to commit Harry Carey. It doesn't matter because they wouldn't do well in our league. But the opinion is that this league is somehow inferior, and that's really, to some degree, it may be true in the top 2 or 3 teams in the area, but beyond that, not necessarily. Well, I mean, when you think that 98% of children are never going to play a higher another institution of higher learning, or go to the pros, that we're offering them an organized place to play. We're going to go. There's going to be games. There's going to be a ref. There's going to be another team. A good chance of walking off the field without being attacked in the parking lot. So I mean, it's as good. It's terrific. It's been terrific for us. When we started off, when I was there, Temple Terrace at the Shoney's in the back room there, it provided good competition, and it still does today. And but I think we haven't done a good job, and that's neither here nor there. We will try next year. Maybe we'll take a look at it and see if there's something we can. But we're not everything to everybody, and we're not going to be. We got to run our programs, and I think Mike has been a good arguer for that. That got to have some value. There's some value by things the way you think they should be run, professionally and this, and without backbiting and all the other nonsense going on sometimes. And there's here that now we're a league straight ahead. So, boom. Let's get moving. Judd, we got for the good of the game anything?
We just got a chat. Raven River will be hosting region finals.
Correct. Got teams down there. That'll be another good, you see at the end of that who's in, we've got a bunch of teams in. 4, yeah. Yeah. Saturday, Sunday.
Semifinals.
No, Saturday, final Sunday. Yeah. He's got a scatter team. Good, Yeah, when you win the Final Four, you get that far, because which is one way or the other, the ball can change the result. So, but you get down to that, you're doing fairly well. All right, there's nobody, I'm going to adjourn the meeting because there's nobody to even offer the adjournment. Well, now in with the guys next to them, who is
West Florida.
Yeah, Branch Cons, West Florida Flames, West. Because play last year, they were stopped playing in the CDL because they were the guy store didn't want him in because they're going to be fighting over kids.
It's funny because
forgiven, all is given as a
Florida
paycheck.
Flames got rid of a few.
Yeah. And they're guys that we should be appealing to, Dave. I mean, we should be talking to them because I think we got 4 teams in this. I mean, it's just, all it is really, as I see it, is a way to qualify for the state cup. And not a bad idea. And the rest of the games are all in these tournaments. They're telling people that it's, well, it is an expensive way to play. Games cost, I don't know what is per game. You go to a tournament, it's, you know, $500, $600, $700 to play 3 matches before. It's expensive, and this sport, and it's, well, yeah, I mean, not even, we're not talking a great ones either, we're talking about local tournaments. See, and it is happening. The worst kid is left behind. Yes, they can play very right away, so they're picked up in scholarship. That kid, we're going to be in the United States, not just here in the United States.
Kids on scholarship.
Yeah, they need them. I mean, that is why they need those kids to form the team, and then you have all the paying people around them, basically, to subsidize those kids. And those you got to have because they make the vision of it at all. The fact that that's the United States, unfortunately, and that's where we're headed to lacrosse. We're going away from where the rules soccer are for the rest of the world, the way I see it. The rest of the format for Europe and South and Central America is it comes from the nation, the great ones pop out, you know, the mess, you know, it's like that pop out of wherever. Some are middle class kids, Kakas, middle classy guys.
They don't pay.
No, because there's money at the Central Club to do that.
Right. They leave kids in and they're part of their program.
Our
And they pay.
national coaches talk to me. There's a great article, and he talks about how this is our soccer thing is inverted here.
But what do they do?
Yeah, that's the point.
But that's worse.
But they're so. I mean, the clubs, the professional clubs have great. I mean, they're great funding. I mean, the bigger ones. So they're not. They don't need the pay. We're just the opposite. We're trying to make these businesses pay. The kids have to pay because have something. I'm not opposed to people getting. So it's just how much and what we're telling them to get that money is my only objection.
Atlantic City, MLS team, they did a first.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna be.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you can almost bet on that, but it would be if there's.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of MLS, you know, out in Seattle, places.
Yeah, Portland is all, yeah, man, Montreal is some real successful. Even New York's probably doing okay.
Yeah, no, they're doing pretty well.
Well, they got a million people, and they got a lot of people that are soccer fans. I mean, there's more soccer fans. You know, the indigenous in the main, that's the issue, and I think they will become that way, but we're not, we were fast in the 90s. It was like it was coming, and then what happened? It just got stalled somewhere. Yeah.
Retired from other countries.
Yeah, we just lost our
I know they're
mojo.
doing, but they're not, but these guys, they're not paying, you know, yeah, Beckenbauer, someone like you're paying big time money.
Like 8 issues to go through, so.
Let's move, we got the, what was it? Big committee meeting, you wanna start? Approval minutes, let's go.
Can we approve the minutes?
Okay. You can officially do anything. I don't think you can vote on any of this stuff either, all you can do is.
Well, we're gonna have to go through it and come up with. The season will be over for the next meeting.
We've got, do we have anybody else online?
No, Steve is the only board member online.
No.
Good, well,
in there. We'll go through yours first.
Last time, I was here for an hour and a half.
We're,
Well, I'm gonna go.
no, we're already,
He's game 1790, but because it's changed since last.
Oh, okay.
This is,
Broken Fields lights fail with 12 minutes to go, that's the, that,
let's do the minutes.
you can't approve them, let us show them,
There are,
everybody.
yeah, there are.
Look good.
And the big issue was forfeit claims. Teams that are within 21 days, things are rescheduling, and then they don't realize all the stuff that happens. Teams not responding or ignoring communication. And,
We went through this, we had a planning thinking, so we went through a lot of it, we'll get some changes, minor changes, understanding that we've got some issues, punitive issues, we got to, bounce around, but it wasn't a huge thing out of that meeting. It was, these are, there's just technical little slots we got to figure out.
the first one,
Lights fail with 12 minutes to go.
want me to bring up the game for it?
As we know, Kai objected, I understand. We board vote on emails, they voted not to uphold the protest. But I mean, I don't know, it's an act of God for 12 minutes, it's, you have to bring these teams back. Can we bring them back?
But if I'm game and I'm winning, I can the lights off.
That's
Absolutely.
what I'm saying.
Absolutely right, you
The
could.
lights off and say it was an act of God.
Absolutely.
But this is what happened.
Well, but you could do that.
That's what I'm saying.
But you could do that, and they might have done that. We don't know that. Well, we really don't. We don't think that's the fact. We play so few games. If they are 1/10 to 1% of our games, that's a lot. So first of all, the thing about day and night really is a non-issue for us. We don't play. Rarely we play night games total out of 3,000 something games.
And the regular game was rescheduled. It was read out on the 20th.
It was rescheduled, and the team, not to say anything bad about it, and for a reason, could not get there any earlier. They had to push the start back to 7:30 because Kai and those guys were coming all the way from Pinellas County, which I understand through the traffic and everything else. I mean, you're really looking at a lot of adverse circumstances. They're playing a game, but it's a tight match, and it's a one-goal game now. All of a sudden, the lights go off, and the referee calls the match. Now, I thought, roughly, that once that ref calls that match, for whatever reason, that's the end of it. We can't override it, but that's not true. We look
Frank showed you the rules.
at the FIFA rules, and you can. Frank, one of the ones that said it's the referee. They saw a report, the referee handed it in, it's over.
That's what he said. That's the group.
Okay.
Up to this group, the rule is,
Yeah, the rule is,
FIFA rule.
FIFA rule that you could
It's up to the league.
replay. It's up to the league. It's up to the rules of play in that.
Now, to replay, is it replay game?
Well, I mean, look,
No,
first of
you
all,
play the game.
if you went back to halftime, say it was like a rain.
No, you have to replay it's up to the competition authority, and it's either the game stands or the game is replayed.
Replay.
That's the only options there are. So,
78th minute,
Then looking at this, we're talking about how they will
9:05. Now the lights were supposed to go off at 9:15. 9:05. We believe that is the best answer we can.
12 minutes left. If they go on until 9:15, there would have only been.
how they was that.
They wanted to start at 7. Now, I understand. 7:30. They pushed it back to 7:30 and agreed to do that. They're not anticipating the lights were. The lights, to me, that's an act of God. I mean, that's like a lightning strike in the middle of the field. Nobody turned them off. Nobody.
Any fields that I've ever been on, which is like maybe 5 clubs where I am, they're all, you turn them on, you know, a field, that isn't the case. They're programmed and that's it.
City.
Well, I get it.
It was a little faster than 9:15. It was kind of took a
Right,
minute.
because the referee is their club signer, so he's trying to find a way of turning them on and
Yeah, I mean, they did attempt to get him back on, but they
But, my thing is, they started getting about a certain time.
7:30.
The other thing is they expected to play the full game.
Yes.
A lot can change.
However, the opposing team coach not signed the papers, was upset, did not agree. Right.
I don't blame him, I'm just saying, do we,
He wasn't Kai,
the Kai's point, and one thing we've got to clear up is, Kai's fine because the 19s couldn't go down to, he knew it, he said, well, I can't get the kids down there, so then we're gonna forfeit. Thing is, if that game matters, in other words, if that these games, the one mattered and the other one didn't, and we shouldn't be penalized for that. But that isn't the point. The point is not what matters. Every game is supposed to be played in our league from start to finish, and we do that. So we got is, do we force a replay? And the board voted once. I don't know if anybody wants to change it by tomorrow.
What was the outcome? I didn't know, I never heard what the outcome was.
5-3, nothing
Yeah.
play.
That's correct.
That's what I just
No, I didn't vote, so I mean, it's good of a 6-3. I would have said the same thing.
Since then you looked into the rules and it's.
No, but the rules allow us to
I wanted to know, how did the board reach the decision?
Right.
I can't answer that. I can only tell you what the vote is.
Frank illuminated, said the game's over, he felt it was the referee called the game, it was whatever. Another, 5 board members said it's a game, at the time. Well, then the guys, upset.
Are we talking about the light game?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Why can't,
There's
I
12
mean,
minutes left, Steve. I mean, I don't know, we had a 5-3 vote. I didn't vote.
but
I don't see much of a change. It's an unfortunate circumstance, it really is, but that's going off as an act of God as far as I'm concerned. It's like a.
It could have transformed, I mean, it wasn't, but I mean, if a
Could have been anything. It could have been a freight train could get off its tracks and ran in a field. I mean, anything could have happened.
We got all these.
This happened.
I guess by official terms, it's a game. I mean, in that regard.
No, it's up to us. We can have it, we can schedule it. It's according to our the league's, rules or whatever. We don't have rules.
Yeah.
Out of that, most people felt at the time that, okay, 28 minutes, the lights went off. That it's just too difficult. It's a season, but that shouldn't be a factor in this. Most guys
No.
just felt.
What is wrong? I know it sounds ridiculous, but what's wrong with them playing the last 12 minutes of the game?
I think that's a choice, play the last 12 minutes.
Nope, the only option we have is to,
Replay or
let it stand.
Why
And because
is
our
that not a
weather-
choice?
I don't know why that is. Why is that?
Why is that not a choice? I mean,
It's the
we
law.
pay the referee.
It's law 7.
FIFA rule, Steve.
Okay. FIFA does not let you just pick up the game where it left off?
Must be played in its entirety if the competition so decides. But see, not every, I don't think. Where the competition.
And Linda said, I mean, we have the rules, so we did read it.
Well, as long as if that's a FIFA rule, then it's a FIFA rule. Fine. I mean,
Yeah, so it's
to make sure when we talk to Kai, we
that's
have
all
all
we're
adjustments.
trying to determine.
So what I want to know is the.
Now it stands, I don't see any
I would
change.
At this point, due to the fact that the last 12 can't be played, due to FIFA rules, that's not an option. It's too late in the game for it to be the whole game to be replayed because the other team will say, well, that's not fair, we were winning, So, yeah, unfortunately, I think we're just keeping the game where it is.
It's both the Lightning hitting the field and stopping the match, although that's not the reason.
It
It's not a
doesn't
good,
get replayed.
it's not a good.
We're applying that same rule that we've got.
And Kai's got a point. I
That's
mean,
what you have to
I don't think he's off base complaining about it.
unfortunate because it's one of those we've never covered before.
The only difference is, Steve, they gotta replay the whole game, they can't play the last 12 minutes. Even that would be difficult, to
And
enforce.
it was 12 minutes into the game, obviously we replay the whole game, but you know, with
We probably would, we probably would,
You haven't got to halftime.
have got to halftime.
Right, so they would play.
With 78 minutes in, anything could have happened, no doubt about it. I don't even know what the arguments was, though, and we gotta be sure, it has nothing to do with the current standings in the league. We made this decision, like it matters, it doesn't matter.
FIFA rule, we go by FIFA.
Well, we either play or not, that's it.
Mhm.
And we voted not to, I don't know if there's any changes, been no change as far as I know from anybody, unless somebody can fight. Can we open it up till tomorrow? If tomorrow no one changes their minds, then this is set.
I think it needs to stick with the time. I mean, on the board.
I vote the same, I vote not to replay it, so that would make it 6-3, it's gonna be.
Did anybody hear from else? Did Gun Merrill from the Florida Spirit coach get anything from
Yeah, no, we got it from their manager, I guess, right?
the manager? Have the story. No, we have.
No,
The story is the lights went off.
the light went off.
That whole thing, the lights went off.
Someone snuck over and, but nobody knows, well, nobody's going to prove that anybody thought it was anywhere near them. And the attempt to put them back on.
Yes, and Chris Hall, who's their referee, was a third race, and he was trying to get them on.
I don't think those guys would have done that anyway. I mean, we don't believe that would be anything that was ever shown themselves to do, is to shut lights off. Balls left, they would have shut them off at halftime.
Every reason to believe that would be the case. Yeah.
I don't know the standings, but Chris' point was, I think somebody said, well, it doesn't affect the standings, okay, but.
It does affect the standings. It may not. There's two more games that have to be played. There's one game each of the two top teams have one game. They have 1 point apart. It may or may not.
That's not a consideration in this.
But if there was a lightning strike and they didn't replay it and they didn't play the game, then the game would be called,
Exactly.
whether it affected the standings or not.
The rule
The
about
point
it.
is, the judge on the fact that it's going to affect standings, because then we take games that was Kai's point, then games that don't matter and just say, well, who cares? That's not.
Either replaying it because we should or not replaying it. That's it.
First half has been completed, we will deem it complete. That's what our rule says. Although it's inclement, but I take it the same thing and just apply it.
But we don't have, there's nothing in our bylaws or FIFA's bylaws that speaks to lights going out of the field.
To add or other, and for next year, in our rule, if the first half has been
I think we're
completed.
handling it. I mean, we got non-rational people sitting there thinking it's a terrible thing and it's not fair and it's not fair.
It's a shame. It's a shame, but unfortunately, it's what it is.
We're gonna deny that unless there's some, no, we're gonna deny it, period.
We got it, because we gotta go on.
Well, we'll have to go on. We can go tomorrow. We don't need to do it tonight, Linda, but we will.
Okay.
We don't,
Well, March 31st is coming up.
that's right, but we do not have to do that tonight.
Right.
We can wait a day and see what happens. We don't want to. Everybody's gonna change their mind. The facts stayed the same. They haven't changed any. Everybody looked at it and voted. Even then, there's still, they have to get 2 more votes to overturn it. All right. Update info online. We talked about that. 2-0 NBO coach had a player use another one's pass. That's out of our jurisdiction now.
No, it's back. I want to go, so Dave can leave. I'm going to go.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dave.
First.
1790 where field's closed.
All right, wait a minute. Well, I want you to see this game report. And I Dave last night about it. he got a 0-0 score. And that the game was canceled, we needed information, well, canceled.
Where was the match? Where is that?
It was at West Florida
East Lake Field.
Okay,
Field. Basically, nobody showed up.
okay.
Yeah, that was the day that it was reported.
Information from the fields that they closed the
Nope.
fields?
Not a week
Because
later.
I talked with the assigner, and he was saying things all over the place, moving things to Brandon, because of parents, video, whatever. And he just got the game. Said he would pay the refs, which he had paid. They told me, what? Should get paid.
Yeah.
Right.
That his guys didn't pay. We haven't paid him because now we got a game report that shows that the game was played.
I told him that lives up. Look, on my right word.
Mm-hmm.
But the game's not
The
played.
game was not
Game
played,
was not played. Nobody showed up.
but he reported it now.
He reported 0-0 score, and I told him.
It's a rain out right now, and it's gotta be rescheduled.
Right.
Dave needs to, well, we don't know if it's gonna be rescheduled.
Well, but right now, as of right this minute, it needs to be rescheduled. If they don't, they don't. I mean,
That's it.
Right.
But I'm just saying, we need him to complete the game report, we need to know if he was paid or not. Now that nobody was field, but I complete the report, right now I don't have it.
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm for.
that's what we can do at this point, and we go back to this rain thing, we just gotta play it straight ahead, because we're never gonna get, they're gonna get information
But you,
for the get guys not to show up.
yeah, you didn't get any information
It's
from
not
the assigner there?
So, Thursday. Sorry.
But he did send you something.
Um,
Because I called him,
He's verifying basically what we do.
Then, we had the meeting on the first, on a Sunday, he contacted me on Thursday, I told him he was a bit late. 4 days later,
Mistake, but yet the game wasn't played, it wasn't gonna, it was not gonna get played. So they reschedule, or they're not gonna play. Right?
yeah, I just.
And that is the difficulty now. Whose fault is it now, if it get rescheduled? If you, and I say I can't make it, now who gets a forfeited, that's.
That's what
we
we've
have
got to go through on some of the rest of these.
Yes, I mean, that's a difficult in our system, and we're gonna address it, somehow with bylaw or something. The reality, where the, option lies. Because guys have been holding up, what some people do, and we talked about this, is just ignore, no.
Right.
We talked this at length at the.
but it's the home club that it's.
The home sets it, you said it, I answer you.
No, wait a minute, so you're talking about two different things here. You're going to reschedule, the
Right.
game's not set unless we have agreement.
Well,
Schedule, but you say, here's what I'm scheduled. You say I can't make,
Do it.
okay.
scheduled for that
You
Saturday.
asked to schedule,
The home team
right?
got in touch with the away team, and apparently they did get in touch with them because both teams did not show up. Okay?
Yeah, or.
Would be the observation that I would have.
Yeah.
Okay? So they were told, and now the game has to be
It's not a
rescheduled.
problem. Here's the question. I'm the home team, I'm trying to reschedule. We're not answering my room or soccer request to get.
Or email.
Or anything. Because busy, you're dog died, or, I don't know, whatever happened, something happened. Well, in that, we've got a problem, because now who does forfeit because you're not answering my questions and not agreeing to reschedule the game?
I remember we were talking about this last night.
Yeah. And we went into, we talked about it at length at the planning, I don't know, we gotta come up with something. There's gotta be some way to, bring that together. I said, well, we'll make up, we'll make up the, Linda will, or she'll say, here's your date. Makes any sense, we'll
It
hack it
hasn't
out.
worked so far, because the 2 times that I said you'll play on
We agree.
Tuesday, they can't.
Yeah, or just agree to say, look, then you don't get the game in, fellas, and it's a non-game. One team will want to and say, it's not fair, I should get the forfeit. We gotta decide before next season, because this thing goes on all the time, this little game we're playing. And, well,
whatever you estimate, that must be respectful.
this is not the original schedule. What happens now is these two teams, the home team now still like to play. We are attempting to reschedule this on Saturday, March 28th. Real play because you're not going to win the game. You don't want to travel there and you can't get the 6 guys. Don't answer them because you don't say, I'm not going to play that day. You don't answer. You're just awesome and don't say anything. And I'm saying, hey, I tried to reschedule it. He should forfeit for that answer.
The other argument is, well, the playable, the club shouldn't have closed the field, therefore, some team should get a forfeit. I heard that over and over.
Very dicey, that one.
They didn't put any USC. So, no, some of them, we have clubs that, oh, I felt a drop of rain. They fill out the form, they shoot it to me, and close the field, and I can tell by looking at radar that there ain't no rain there.
But
They close the field.
a certain percentage of
Right.
clubs that are guided by city will
That's the
close
problem.
a lot of fields. That's it.
Right, but
Political entities, these things that will look and say, these are shut, we don't know who they are. Wesley Chapel could be one.
But I just know that
We don't
there are some that I'm not far from them. The notice.
But you don't know what the conditions were. We never know what the conditions exactly were unless we're there, so we can't prove it, even though you don't like
The
it.
procedures were followed.
Linda, I hang around hockey weather, right, and like one to field. The last time we got rain, I'm looking at it again.
Well, I mean, that's
I just can't figure, it's not showing that.
living here with the cells we have, if one does come through.
But close the fields for the entire day at 8 in the morning.
Right.
And I know there was, I mean, I'll tell you, there was no rain. There was no deluge. Okay?
Like Purdy Park last week,
That's another story.
they closed the fields,
Mhm.
they don't train very well.
Right.
They closed the fields for the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever was on Saturday, because of the amount of rain they got, they closed Sunday, knowing that there's no way that stuff is gonna be gone. It needs 3 or 4 days.
Correct.
Some fields are like that.
And you're doing, the other way to look at it is, in those cases, Joe, you're doing the other team a favor by saying, don't bother coming because they're not going to be open. You don't then go to the fields and say, oh, maybe there's a 10% chance that they won't be standing water on the field. And the referee will go along with it. Drive all the way from Northport to Fernando, and Fernando guys are 90% sure it ain't going to happen, but instead they didn't say anything. They can play. It's easy for them to kind of glide down there and see if the fields are going to be right. So that's not fair either. That's not right. So you get guys that close the fields early. They may be doing people. We just don't know. We're lost in this.
But I have firsthand knowledge.
Yeah, we don't have the actual information we need, and even if we did, we have the right to override any political entity for sure, and a club that says, we aren't playing in these fields because we'll ruin them. It's not have the right to say, yeah, well, we're gonna forfeit all the matches. It does not happen that often, but it's a pain in the butt when it does. All kinds of problems with it because guys don't get in touch in time. People travel without warning them.
That are there.
We just have to go with the bad system we have, and that's all we can do. And
There are teams that are saying, because your fields were closed, you should forfeit. And I've seen it over and over in the chat when we're trying to figure out about
that ain't gonna happen either.
But I'm just letting you know it's out there.
I mean, it's just not, everybody might as well know.
But how come God came after you?
We just don't know, we don't know. We're just functioning within perfect information. suspension, and
Right.
we don't have the right to override somebody's decision, because we're gonna do it, one time you're gonna do it, we're gonna wrong, some kid's gonna get by lightning, and it's a USA man, watch. And Cheatham and Howe will be all over, right, we'll be,
Game
All right.
2009. I just wanted Dave to see that one, because he's going to get that referee to fix it.
Gotta go get that referee. Find him right
put your finger right in his nose and bring him in close.
It's been a week. Two guys on this one.
Do you coach a player use another's
All
pen?
right, here's the game report. I'll make it bigger so that you can see it, and then
I thought this went to FYSA.
let me give you the TBD is the player was asked by misleading referees, the referee at halftime. Player Tom did not have player pass, checked in as Asher, was not present. Referee noticed once the player scored. The parents were calling for Tor, not Asher. When at halftime, players said his name was Asher. When at the halftime, the coach knew his player was Tor. Did not have a pass. The player was not allowed to enter the second half. And the rest of it doesn't matter. This is the only thing that matters. Now, I sent this to Becky, and Becky's response was, the league has a rule about player classes. If so, then you can charge the player with falsification and have him be suspended for 3 years. That's outrageous because it wasn't the player that did anything, it was the coach.
The coach.
The coach. So then,
What age group?
I don't believe it's universal.
What
You know, U12.
212.
That player did not go to the game expecting to do this. Now, a player, meaning he was, a guest player. And roster, so that's not the issue. Wasn't there at all. So I thought that was, I thought Becky's response was, anyways, I didn't think it was appropriate. I'm thinking it was the coach. My personal opinion, it was the coach. Did you know who the player was? Oh, yes. Was it number 9? I thought of that. Was it number 9 for players? But anyway, well, we knew who it was. I mean, Ash wasn't there, and Tor was using Ash's pass. This was all done by coach. And
The coach definitely.
Right.
However, we are here to also teach them right and wrong, right? But he was using a different name when he knew that he wasn't that. So we can't let him go down.
No, but he doesn't understand it, right? 11-year-old
Yes,
kid
you
doesn't
understand
understand
that he doesn't.
well, he's going to tell the coach, no, 11-year-old, that's
No, he doesn't have to tell the coach. We don't have to penalize.
So, coach, this
Honestly,
is unethical.
yeah.
Yeah, come on.
A lot of 11-year-olds say that.
However, it is his responsibility.
Absolutely.
The kid has, you don't have to even forget, of course you
The coach gets the remainder of the season, which was a year. That's all the coach gets.
I'm good.
the kid should actually,
But not from FYSA.
They're expecting us to handle this.
But we can't suspend him from every FYSA.
No, but the club is willing to, and the CBU is willing to do that, make him the paper that he's suspended for the remainder of the year.
Give him the remainder of the year and a year, I think that's.
And let it go with the coach.
the coach,
And let it go.
that was the league game.
Yeah, of course.
Wasn't the league.
That would happen.
Here's the point though, Gerald, that if next year he's under 13, if we just kept him out of the league, he'd still coach in the CDL, he could go to the
That's why.
he could do anything he wants, he can play every.
Otherwise,
He just, well, that's what I was just asking Linda, and she's saying they threw it back to us to say the club has agreed to in general suspend him for.
Everything. Ensure that because.
And make sure a full FYSA suspension there will be. I think we should take him up on it.
if you suspend them for that act,
It won't.
you can actually go in a different league.
No. Sign a letter
Right.
saying that
FYSA doesn't do anything, he can go to another club, okay?
If we do anything.
He can go to another club and coach all he wants.
Exactly.
Play and be in anything except the USA. We have UA has no, authority over Region Cup, over tournaments, over CDL games or anything else. So I don't understand, I would DBU up on it and let it ride because we can't, it's up to FYSA to do something. Now, if they do it, now you got a problem because you can't be in any FYSA event. He signed a letter saying, I'm willing to forego all FYSA events, so that's better than what we're gonna get, because we have no right to suspend him from FYSA events. The FYSA can do it.
Well, I'm wondering, if you, I'm like a question, FYSA want you to move over it, and then they.
I don't know what.
FYSA said it goes back to your league rules.
Yeah, so per your league rule, you're gonna make a decision, and you'll go back to your FYSA.
Yes.
So going back to TBU.
Go back to TVU, but we will tell FYSA that's what we did. We'll say we have,
What time's the
he
letter?
signed a letter, he's gonna be suspended for the rest of the year and for next year for all FYSA events.
And he's
How's
gonna
that?
sign that letter. He's
So-
gonna, once he volunteers.
I'm good with that, I don't need
Signs
three
the letter.
years, I don't need the variance, that's retribution.
We need to,
And that's it.
And I think we bump it back to them if they're willing to do that.
I've talked to him, I've emailed her, and I talked to Chris.
And I think they understand this is stupid. This get them in trouble, so they're taking the bull by the horns, let's let them do it. FSA, in all cases, should have come in and adjudicated.
Yes, it is. And then they said it goes back
Because
to.
they've grabbed stuff off our plate before and said, well, wait a minute, that's us. With the river, for instance, right away, that's, we have, okay.
Here's the thing, because I'm big on.
Amazing.
Working and teaching kids the right thing. Now, this kid who's been taught the wrongdoing, we just got that.
Yeah, what I recommend, only because at 11 years old, if he hasn't got the gun, which I doubt he does, and because the coach knows best, the little kid doesn't know the rules. He's playing as Johnny Jackson. He's not, he's not Messi out there. He didn't make a big difference. I don't know if he did. Obviously, he's not a professional player and has a professional signed contract. So it's the kid is just playing in a game. Yeah, with the kid's name, and he doesn't even know why. And he's on the roster. He just doesn't have his pass there, which seems to be even more work thing.
Yeah, he's up past.
Yeah, but I mean that's so. But I mean, it's a bit.
I'm just, looking at what, unfortunately, the way kids in the country are going. I'm so big to the club because you have the decency.
Well, I'm sure they have it. I'm sure this is going to revert back through it. So, and we can't. Tomorrow we'll have a vote or something. But right now, what about you, Melissa? I'm the only one here with the board meeting. I see the rest year and a year signed by TVU. I'm fine with that. If he wants to do after that, then we'll do.
Steve,
Steve, about you?
what do you think? Should know something went wrong, and then you should have some kind of.
Well, TVU to explain to the child what he did.
Oh, he did. He did do something wrong. He knew he wasn't that person.
He doesn't understand.
That falls down under.
Because he understands the ramifications of
He may
all
not
that.
even be aware that there's a rule.
Yeah,
saying that.
no, he doesn't. He thinks he can get away with it, and I can.
And, what does that matter? You say, look, you just don't have your pass here. We're going to use someone else's pass. You're on the wrong.
Right. He just walked with that.
It really is. I'll tell you something.
Yeah,
Kids on the roster, it really is just a paperwork.
They might get it down.
The coach should have.
They may not even.
The coach should have never. That's correct. All right.
Just wanted to get that clear.
406 TB no show, paid 5, wants forfeit removed.
Pull up the game for it.
Hey, maybe now, I'm telling you.
in the road field. Directing, the reps were there, the TVU team.
Right now? Okay.
And
No, I'm taking it.
there was just no home team. According to
Fine, you can have that select ball for now.
you, he paid the fine, because he didn't, well, the fields were unplayable. Here, he notified us that the fields were unplayable 4 days after the game. And now on to this forfeit removed, but he paid the fine. And
If 1790 stands, then this stands also, I think, right?
we
Fields
didn't,
were unplayable.
we don't have that, because
We don't know that the game 1790, the fields were closed either, but we're saying they're gonna reschedule it.
you want this one rescheduled?
If you're gonna do it for this one, you're gonna do it for that.
Well, that's why we've got several, so,
Okay, well, I think that if they claim the fields were unplayable and they didn't get in touch with us, we do not have anything in the bylaws that says if you don't get in touch with us, you forfeit the game. Therefore,
well, let me.
it's a bad system, and we've just gotta work with it to say reschedule matches. It goes back to this way, getting a play. North Lake will trip up here.
He's not gonna go over here again.
No, but that's correct. And that's what we're gonna see, that's what I'm saying, we're gonna function with this because this
The other one.
is really not we're powerless in this as far as making judgment. We don't know who has the right to close fields and open fields. A good, well-managed club will get in touch with these guys, and you'll know that those fields are closed, they're unplayable, and they talk to somebody at the fields who some used to talking to or is listed somewhere as the guy that will cancel the fields. Kobo, in our case, the president of the club, or myself, you, case place, but no one from TVU called or anything else. They're unplayable. Now, I'll tell you something, those fields are low, they're fields, from history, could have been unplayable. That's why the team didn't even bother to show, because they looked at the weather and said they can't possibly play a game. But the fact that there was an assumption on their part that they weren't. Now, why didn't they get in touch with North Lakeland when they knew? Because they're well organized and they don't care. And that's how to deal. I don't know how USA deals with that. We have an issue on rainy days, and it's continuing.
It's gonna get worse.
Well, it's the same. I mean, maybe you don't have any. Let's assume that most teams want to play. Most teams want to get the game, and the assumption we got to start. Not to trying to get out of the games or I figured that most teams want to play, and that it's a good faith estimate that the field is unplayable. You got to take that at face value, I think, because you can stand there, Gerald, look at the field, you say it's playable, and I say it isn't.
Well, this will say, I've got our rules right up here, I can bring them up, not that it really matters, but this is what our rules say. And it says close their complexes, should notify 24 hours in advance, no, that can't happen, and they will cancel the game.
Should.
Should have not notified, and the schedule was not updated, then the teams are expected to show up at the field, the referees will cancel the game.
That's a modified.
Well, right, but that's what we've got.
Yeah, but again,
That's what we got.
they didn't show up, and that happens all the time. We know it.
24 hours, but they need to make some kind of.
24 hours.
In this case, this team, like the West Florida Flames game, because no team showed up. Because here, one team showed up and the other one didn't.
Because North Lakeland had no idea it was raining in Pinellas County.
No, they wouldn't.
Southern Pillsbury County. They had no idea. That's why they showed up. The other two show up because they assumed assumed it was, they knew it was raining.
Well, they knew there would be no game, somebody notified them, see, but in this case,
The fact you notify them, and the moment they realize that those fields are unplayable, is really, is bad for them. Do they want to, do we give them a forfeit for that? I don't know. Me, no. You've got to do some judgment in this, that they didn't, somebody missed, or somebody.
so you would allow them to because you're gonna hear from Lakeland, because
Look, North Lakeland's got to agree to reschedule. If they don't, then the game doesn't get played. Just no forfeit.
We don't have any rules, what I'm going to say, at this point from that, I think maybe that's a goal.
it's already quoted our rule.
I'm sorry,
Northland has already quoted our rule.
which is what,
Oh,
and it's all.
yeah, Lakeland already has.
So if they want to repair, then I would say.
North Lakeland can do what everybody else does, and is just say, I can't make it on that week, we can't agree on a reschedule, so it's just not gonna be a game that's played. But that's not a forfeit, it's different. This thing is really, it's a problem. I don't know any, in other words, he talked at the meeting about forcing teams to come, drive, right? And so when they know there's no match, and that's, we all admitted that's stupid, ridiculous. So that's what we're asking for in our rules.
That's what the rules
The rules say you gotta show up no matter what.
Why is the game then?
But if
They already play each other in the morning? 2:05.
That's standard. That's
was on, but USC has it, they followed it, who knows who followed it? Fortunately, that's.
well, the field, when not there, was the field playable or not?
But they understand.
So if the ref says it's unplayable,
He didn't say it was unplayable in his game report. You just weren't there.
well, maybe would they have allowed the game to take place?
Well, again, that's what was on the referee.
Just,
It's up to the club that owns the complex first, not the referee first.
Yes.
Referee says, I say the complex is closed. I don't care
We're
what
talking
referee
about
is.
after that.
Well,
yeah, on Thursday, he tells me that they were closed.
Right.
That's too late to find out.
well, we don't know if teams played, but again, you don't know the conditions that are there. Well, we can do what you want, I don't really care. My point is, when you're in things like this, if they're unplayable, they're unplayable. Were they unplayable? Assuming they were unplayable, and they didn't get in touch. Were any other matches there that day? I don't know.
Well,
Not in the referee report. We can't assume that it was bad, to assume that it wasn't bad.
Well,
Because he didn't say they were unplayable.
but the club told us that they were unplayable.
4 days later,
Complex was
4 days
closed.
later, but it's up to the club.
If they tell me it's unplayable, if my complex is unplayable, now what I get to you?
I got the point.
This class is the same class the coach, he go to the player play,
Yeah, but not the same people. You got thousands of kids.
but, I think, let it go, they give you, for that class, because, for 20 minutes, I heard something every single time from this class, you know what I mean?
I just don't know. I mean, to me, I think we can vote as a board to do this, but
Yes.
it doesn't matter when. We had other teams tell us 2 days later, well, the complex, what are you talking about? Who'd you tell? Oh, we got nobody you tell them. Somebody said,
Follow procedure.
well,
They didn't
I've heard Linda telling this, you have to start meeting over and until I be coming back.
we,
Now, somehow, we're gonna have to pay some price.
well, they.
No action when we look back, all
they're saying is no forfeit. They want a no game, because they're not gonna play this. Realize it's not gonna get played. They get a forfeit or not, this is the only.
I get a forfeit.
They pay the fine.
Yeah.
get out.
They don't get it.
So they should get the 3-0 win.
They get me to, yeah, they gotta get something.
They have to get the rules. They have to get the 3-0
The
win.
rule is already there, whether we have to be modified or not. The rule is there, so we
Here's
gonna
the
have to
problem
go
with our
by that.
rule, there's no mention, there was only a mention of a referee. There was no mention of a club or a county or a school district or a city saying the fields are unplayable. Do you see what I'm saying? We've got a rule there that we assume for some reason our referee has the power to say this field is open, and we don't. We don't at all. The first power is whoever owns those fields declares, I don't want them played on because they'll be ruined. I don't want them played on because I know down deep, if you get in that hole right there, you'll sink and someone will drown. Referee doesn't understand any of that, but he looks at it, he says, play it. But we know the county, we know Hillsborough County, all right, but we're sorry, no.
No, let's assume it was unplayable. And, but the procedure for USA, whether it was, we're assuming it's unplayable, it's under 6 feet of water.
Right, so we're saying that
We can't assume when we're talking about.
Well, again, let's go back. That puts a lot of forfeits on the board, because if it's an hour before you, still forfeit.
No, it will be notified. Exactly.
No, but
That's why they
What if it's after, what if it's after the match?
That's 24
What if it's
hours.
at the time of the match? What happens then?
We notify people when we get notified.
Right, when you get notified.
I'm not notified.
If we don't get notified, we don't get notified most of the time.
But we get notified most of the time. We lag.
We had,
Yeah.
we've got
11 fields
WCU
were closed.
that didn't notify you, correct? Lee Chapel didn't
Wait a
notify you.
minute. I'm going through the ones that did.
The point is, so all the ones that didn't, what we're saying is, if you don't notify us, you forfeit.
If you follow USA procedure, you forfeit,
Okay, I mean-
or else people are just gonna do this all the time to USA, walk over, stand by our
It all makes some sense here, because we're talking
Well,
about.
we're gonna change it, but we gotta write the
The rule
rule
has to be
with
changed.
a much tighter thing.
Yeah,
The rule we have right now
modified.
is ridiculous,
Yeah.
because we don't understand that we aren't the ones. Someone at the club is not the one who owns the fields. That's and that's the right to close it. Who club has got the right to close? I get down there and I'm the coach and I say, we're closed today. I tell her, hey, Schubert closed. Meanwhile, I'm showing up, we got a team showing up, no one knows that first coach just told Jerry that field was closed today. He doesn't know, and she doesn't know that they have the authority to do it. No, you don't.
Wait a minute.
Who is the authority? Tell me, who is the authority at Schubert to close the field?
I would have to hear from you, or Coco, or Mike.
Okay, but I'm saying, if you
We
did,
check.
Wesley Apple, who's got the authority to close the fields?
That would be,
For Signer, that's who closed them.
yeah, but he's on there, he's one of your players there.
But can he close the fields?
I would assume so.
That's my point. In all these places, at Monroe, who's got the right to close that field? The school district.
Well, from Eric, we would hope to hear.
Okay, but Eric's the only one, anybody else we
I
can't.
don't know, I'd have to mention them. But the thing is, we haven't heard from.
We've got so many things mixed in these fields that we can't possibly, we're really careful that we don't override some.
If we hear
Someone in the club is gonna have to take.
Absolutely, that's why we're trying to update the affiliation form.
Again, yeah, we.
Happens every time it rains, Joe, and I've been at the fields myself, looking, trying to figure out, the team's coming, we got the things, so we just let it ride. We don't notify anybody, because we let the ref, we figure, we will play on these, everyone has to. But if that doesn't happen. That's the problem with all these fields is, we've got a mix of who can call a game off. And that's, so we've got, do you understand how ridiculous it is that we think we can override a county or a city or a school district?
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
When they say those fields are unplayable, that's the end of it.
We're not, that's not what we're saying.
That's why I would rewrite that bylaw.
Well, that's
I'd be
good for after the AGM, but for right now, we
I'd
have
be
to
much
follow
more
what,
specific.
we have to follow what the rules are right now. What's gonna happen after the AGM?
I would, well, first of all, we can't do anything. Tomorrow, we need to get a board, we need, two of us can't make the decision.
How come one thing can be voted on tonight and something else can be voted tomorrow?
Well, I mean, this type of
Well,
thing, you got to go into, one, so we got nothing.
I think they need to reorganize the group, because I heard about the club doing anything they want.
Well, they're not, but when it rains, when you've got rain in one specific area like we had,
And I heard,
you know.
the USA came to the last one, you came to the league, you need to
Well,
reorganize.
you may be hearing that, but when we're talking specifically, this rain thing has been a problem for years,
But it's
man.
not just
With the
that.
con-
Because it's very hard. They control like this, and you go to play in that club, they say it's closed, the referees are right, they say it's,
But they can do that. In other words, I can say these fields are unplayable. We had a water main break. It doesn't have to be rain.
Yeah.
It can be an unplayable condition.
That's a different
Or the
thing,
lights
you
could
know,
go
a
on.
different thing. Yeah.
Or the lights are unplayable. And who determines at that point that it's unplayable? And we've got to make sure the rule is very clear that we have to, if there's an entity that is beyond us and they determine those fields are not going to be played on, then we do control that. So now we give that club a forfeit.
That's been notified. Forfeit is because they did not follow procedure, not because their fields were fine or not fine. Right. And that's the.
But the referee didn't adjudicate it.
The point is, they totally ignored everything.
That's why it's 5 days later.
Yeah, but it's 5 days later, it's totally ignored.
He didn't actually even know the fields were open. He found out later the fields were closed, no one played.
Exactly.
That's what happened. But played down there then, because we're not playable in their opinion. I don't know.
How
How
can
many
you
games on
expect
the
the
field?
traveling team to find
How?
out from
See if
football?
there's
Well, that's the
Field
point,
that
Joe. If you tell them 3 hours ahead, if you didn't call them 5 hours ahead, North Lakeland's already on the road coming.
Yeah.
So send the team down, the logical thing is to send the team down there to play, but they know what their fields look like, because it just got, 4 Rangers came down, and they know what those fields are like. So what we talked about in the meeting this Saturday, had everybody gone to it, is the same point. It's insane to make me drive to those fields when we know they're not playable.
It is up to
How do
them
we
to
do that?
notify.
How do we do
All
that?
they needed to do was call them, and then you wouldn't be talking
They
about
didn't
it
even
for
know
40
to call.
minutes.
In other words, nobody nobody knew even to call. That's the point. They left those fields.
That's the problem is. Let's just ignore bylaws, and we can make them better. And
Well, no, this is, he said fields weren't unplayable, but he didn't notify us, so that's.
that's
we gotta
just
work
it. That's the issue.
Okay.
Notices, that's the issue. They didn't follow the
Maybe
You have to
procedure.
look at the bylaw,
Yeah.
and the
I agree with that.
bylaw.
I think it's crazy because we don't follow it to a T all the time.
But
You do not tell me that the field is closed beforehand. I don't get, I'm gonna ring up a forfeit because you didn't tell me. The referee really should, in this case, should have said this field's playable, we have a game, let's go.
we look at a game report. Never was an unplayable. The referee never said it was unplayable.
Well, did he forfeit the game there? Did he say the other team didn't?
Well, they can't, he wrote down that the other team wasn't there. He doesn't have the authority. He doesn't have the
He
authority.
didn't put the forfeit.
Keep the
He
forfeit.
does not allowed to. The ref is not allowed to. All the ref can do is say the other team wasn't here.
Or the field's unplayable.
The other team did not come on for the game that the referee got in.
That's forfeit.
That's the problem.
Yeah, the other team wasn't there.
So written down.
He wrote down that they weren't there.
Right.
So he we give them a 3-0 win.
I'm the one that did that because the referee is not allowed to.
Right. All he said is they didn't show up. The point is, we would have liked them to say this field is playable and these teams didn't show up. That would have been much simpler for us then. In my opinion, this is a playable field right now. It's not underwater. I've been down those
Not
fields down there.
only did they not tell North Lakeland, they didn't tell the refs because he showed up
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, well,
I mean, come on. You're not talking about 11-year-old kids making, it's dogs. Hello, you don't go to work, you call and you say, I can't come to work. So if you're not gonna play a game,
Well,
I'm sorry, I can't play a game.
but again,
I mean, hello.
this
I mean,
is
there's
a
no.
constant and a chronic problem. It's not just TVU this time. My point is, we got, they told us, they didn't tell us, they told us late, they didn't tell us, no.
How much percentage about who notifies us?
Doesn't matter if it's one kid. The point is,
No, I'm curious.
we have to get a clearer methodology. In other words, if the ref shows they talk, they must give us and say that, in my opinion, these fields are playable.
Well, I can go back to that.
And the club would have had to say prior to that, we have closed the conference. Three after they found out no one was.
It wasn't until after they got notice of the
I
fine.
think it's simple question. Simple.
Well, we're gonna forfeit them, but I'm saying
The team is arriving early and that.
this rain thing is an issue because it comes up the way it happens for is maybe raining in Pinellas County, the guys in North Lakeland are driving there. Say, we showed up for the game and it's raining, cats and dogs, and your team didn't show up. We're here, we're ready to play. Couldn't play in that, it was lightning and everything else. So, you're gonna forfeit because you're smart enough to realize you've been one of them all the way down the field, and we talked about this specifically Saturday, and everyone said, no, you're right, that's ridiculous. So, do we know ahead of time, can we cancel it in some way, shape, or form? Yes. But we have others that aren't, that people don't do us in time. It's a constant problem with the way we're doing it, and it's gonna be a problem. Even when if we're gonna match the bylaws this year and make them much more specific about, actually, that's gotta be done. Don't worry.
I don't think I have Eric. Well, is it because they got a fine or because they got a forfeit? What do they set about? The other coach, when I got email from Robert Stover, because he's the coach of the team.
We know him, right?
He's CBC and C4. He said, with nobody there from TVU, the fields were wet, but looked playable.
Just the ref would have said that to us.
And, we can get that from the ref. I can get that.
Then get that, and then you say, hey, look, the fields are playable, everyone was there, you know.
Okay, I can get that. I can.
And say, who closed the complex? Ask him who closed the complex.
The ref isn't gonna know because we didn't.
Ask Eric who closed the complex. When did you close it?
Complex, he didn't let anybody know.
Well,
That's no 5 days later.
were there matches scheduled?
No, there wasn't. 17 boys.
They dropped it back.
And not just only this class have one game.
At that.
Probably at that field, because they're secondary, they're actually tertiary fields, they're not even secondary. They're in down in Tampa at a school.
I'm putting the math schedule now.
They might have Yale games there. They could have rec games there. They got a rec program down. We could have played 8s, 9s, 10s, I mean, you know. We're gonna forfeit, we're gonna hold the forfeit for this. We need to have organization, They don't tell us, and the ref shows, you're susceptible to the ref deciding, didn't tell the complex was closed. We have, like the county, rarely, but, Hurricane. Tell us, hey, man, you know, preventing anything that's gonna be in your fields because it's dangerous. Hurricanes are easy around here. Thunderstorm cells that come up, like they do. It's, I'm doing it for 20 years. You're looking at them trying to figure out what close the fields, kind down, close the fields are gonna playing these fields, man, they're soaked. We just did 3 inches of rain for 2 hours. Hey, we scheduled this. We didn't close the field.
That we gained, TV has scheduled that I can,
Probably just.
yeah.
Right, so, let's go.
Next one is 23-5.
What about 5? We're back to that.
Oh, yeah,
Did we figure that
205.
out today?
That you and I were talking about.
Well, they failed to notify USA of field closure.
We, from, and after, FCM was calling Sherry while Sherry was in a hearing.
4 o'clock game, right?
4 o'clock game. 4 o'clock game. I hadn't heard from anybody at Wesley Chapel. And, shortly after 3 o'clock, I got an email from Alan Thorpe that he had contacted Tony and Tony canceled the referee.
Yetner was there.
No, he wasn't.
Well, he gave us back.
That was from the previous game.
But that referee was supposed to do the game, was he not?
I don't know.
Yes.
Okay, because I can't tell that. Tony is removed.
Doesn't matter. Our FC Tampa says, look, we'll reschedule if we can. They're happy to do that. This is an issue, but again, here's another one
Where Wesley Chapel did not notify us, and
the team's there. Ready to
it's there, Essex is there. We do know that we notified, not the right way, but the wrong way, shortly before the game, after the team was there. The team was already there when we got notified.
because the guys from FC Tampa said we'll try and reschedule it. And if there's an issue about the fields, they changed. FC Tampa, they were playing twice that day at Wesley Chapel just to get the games in. So I says, well, listen,
They haven't said that to me yet.
we should play home.
They haven't said that to me yet.
They will.
Oh, they haven't. That's what I'm saying.
They will.
When you brought, they saying, they wanted to forfeit. That was the only thing.
Steve's already, you're dealing with Amy. And
I know, but you're not
I talked to the coach today. He said, look, we'll play him. I'll tell Amy. He said, we just want to play him at home because we play home and away.
So that he needs to put that in there, so we've got something.
They'll do it tomorrow.
Because-
Again, it's the same thing. They went to Blanche. There's no one.
There was nothing. There was,
But the referee was there that had their passes from that morning. He was still there. He was going to work, and I think we can find it, but I think he was scheduled. Steve also said he knew at 1 o'clock. They called him and said the referee canceled the match. That was not true. That doesn't matter.
no. Yeah, that, I didn't get anything.
But they didn't get in touch with anybody else. Again, Steve doesn't care. He doesn't want the forfeit.
So it's going to be rescheduled.
Well,
Eventually, we definitely have something.
2:45.
23-4, is that what I sent you an email on? They have it in here. By 9,500 Jackson, your people expect me to follow what it is they want.
Well, they can't find a suitable date to replay the game. We're back to, fault is that, and should we forfeit somebody, correct?
This is a case of where the teams were at the field and the rest, and it was bad weather and the rest called the game, so it was perfectly.
Okay, right.
Reschedule, and they can't seem to come up with a date.
We're gonna have to do with this, I think, is for these type of things, is say if you can't come up with a date, suitable date, then it's a cipher, you're not playing.
Bartow wants the game to be played, because this could be the difference whether they
Okay,
move up of relegation promotion. They'll be promoted, and we need one more game and all that. They want the game to be played.
okay.
But during the week, and Grateful Day can't do it on Saturday because
Oh, it's the one where they don't have any time left.
you've got,
The game was canceled because of the weather, so.
and it's legit, that's totally legit.
The one club,
This is, again, another, we went into this Saturday in detail. This problem, we have two teams that can't agree on a date. We give them,
But we don't have any options here because
we give them a date, and if you don't play that, you're forfeit.
that's gonna be where you have to
Oh,
step
something
different.
on.
and both teams have issues. So we say, what if they both can't, then
I want,
can't,
put them both.
yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, this is an issue. These games are gonna have to.
I would, but, before that, though, I would say that you should actually be sent. The way you come to an agreement, find something that you think is suitable, great. If there's one.
But they have said they cannot do that. They are not finding any suitable ground
They're trying, but they can't. They've been through all the options.
that punish somebody.
I think the system is almost over, right? Especially in this time, USA does decide, they say, I try to one day, then you can do that, and you can do that. Right now, I put in your hand, and both can decide.
Well, it is, that's how our system works now. What we're having is the two teams cannot agree on anything. One has a need to play. Are they team? They were, I'll say they can't set it without the other team agreeing. Yeah, that's, again,
I think in this case, it's not the fault of the USA. In this case, it's the class, you know what I mean?
no, but one has a greater need than the other to play the match.
I know, but sure.
Then that, so we saying if USA would set a date, they both probably would be able to. But, you know, that.
Well, we're gonna have a problem with one second. I pull up this one.
If we're setting dates, right, and that's something we'll have to vote on in the AGM. If we set a hard, fast date, then I think Melissa is exactly right. And everybody says, I can't make it. I can't make it either. I make it, you bring your team to show up that day, you drive down to wherever it is to show up so you're gonna win. Well, that's what we talked about. Do 5 miles or 90 miles with just a group of kids, all these cars on the road, all the risk, all the gas, everything else, show up. When I know beforehand the other team is not gonna be there. That's where we, here's the thing though, if this continues, if it's continual with the club, if it's all the time with the same, with the CVU or greater example, it's a lot of them. And I think we get to the point where you say, you know what, these guys are not good for the, really don't, they're not working. I think that's where the end of this becomes. If it's 1 or 2 a year, stuff like this, there's no fair way to do it. I don't know. Some idea I take, but I can't.
In this case, I mean, they're looking at, there are two different counties, and so the weekend of the 21st and 22nd is spring break for one team, and, PA is their spring break, so.
But we're not here to adjudicate what's a better excuse. That's the issue. It's not for us to go in and say, that's not a good excuse. That's it. We're good mommy and daddy for these guys, and that's a good excuse, that's not. And, unless somebody can come up with a well-worded document to say, this is how we're gonna handle all of these things. many of them we got and who it is that's doing it. I don't know any other way. If there's somebody out there, Steve, if you got somebody smarter than me, you gotta come up with something that's makes these games play. Happens a lot now. Fairly often.
TBU did offer something.
I asked him about it.
You there?
Saying, I said, well, I'm not sure, but I think it's gonna be Monday, Wednesday, when we officially start. He was asking me like questions about it, like he never indicated in any way. As I said to him, congratulations on your boy makers.
Send out an email, just.
He was like, yeah, my other one didn't, the other one made it. It wasn't a real, his,
Somebody in the clubhouse, that's why he was muted, so I muted him again because he was not listening.
So, one alone? Let's figure out how many of these we have and see if it's an issue. That's the other thing. I mean,
Oh, I can show you how many games.
doesn't matter tomorrow.
Hold on.
We'll look at, is it 1% of the games? Is it 20? Is it 50? 100? This really, there's no fair.
Paying attention now. Oh, is he? Yes. Right. Steve, are you there? Oh, no. Because there's just way too much noise there, but he's back. Yeah, I said we're listening to you.
So,
Sorry, I just.
yeah, 2, 3, 4, 5, just the teams have to, pharmaceutical data.
I got out of this to do.
It should be, or else what?
Well, that's you that are just willing to not play, and I'm fine with that, and I've just marked down cancel. But we,
Who they are and how many there are.
well, it's like, you know, these two decided we're canceling the game, so that's fine, and it was canceled. This year, they decided.
But Bartow would like to play one.
Bartow, but if you remember, you'll see all these games yet to be done. So whatever we do,
They all in the same, do they all same legitimacy as far as neither team is obligated to make the game up? In other words, called off.
this is all because of
All weather?
all weather. This is me mainly. This is not taken care of so far. What's me to be.
I mean, for weather, there is no better.
All of them.
Steve,
yeah,
teams can't make the decision as to when to make up a rained out match.
yeah.
Do.
We have to make the decision. What, you know, I mean, what?
We don't, they don't play, do we do anything, or we just leave it?
No, I was listening. I was listening to that part. I mean, at this stage of the game, you know, we're talking about weather. You don't have, you know, if the fields are unplayable, we have to deem the pull at the fields as the expert on it is. We don't have any idea.
It's September, and we have plenty of time to make this up. Would we force them to do it?
Yeah. You know, no. I mean, you know, with. Go ahead. I'm sorry, you were breaking up a little. I mean,
For the AM, we should take a run at trying to.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think we can revisit it and stuff, but at this point,
Try to figure out some method if we can. If not, we just leave it the way it is, or we're happy with it. It's fine, but I don't see any fair way to pressure on someone to play. See, if we're September, you could probably set a date that's reasonably far off, and that both of them could make an effort to get to, right?
Yeah, but you're talking about trying to make it up
so late,
before the March.
not left with that choice.
But you're trying to say make it up before March 30th, correct?
Well,
We have to count the standings, because we're gonna be awarding the trophies and awarding
yeah, March 31st is it, Steve.
Or
but we can't-
31st, yeah.
teams
Yeah.
can- I they can schedule a match, but it isn't gonna count in the standings.
That's right.
Biggest,
Yeah.
Have a cutoff.
we're late now and really don't have a neutral way of assessing, pressure on somebody to, you're gonna get a forfeit if you don't do this. We don't have a law to handle.
You don't. You don't have anything to back you up. You have anything to substantially back you up. You can't force, because of weather or some unforeseen circumstances, you can't do it with a team. You have to forfeit because you refuse to make it up if it can't be done. You know what I'm saying? With only a month, with giving them a month's time to do it.
2 weeks, actually, so.
Yeah, we're down to 2.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Let's keep moving.
Yeah, not even a month's time. Right, 3 weeks. Yeah, not even 2 weeks, whatever. But then you got spring breaks now, this week, next week, and all that. So half the kids aren't even around, and stuff like that. So, no, it's something we can look for. Something we can look to for next year to kind of, that as a clause of something. But at this point, you can't force them. The best I would say is it just has to be a no game or something. That's it, or just didn't play it.
I think the thing is the end of the year, let's see how many, Lindy can follow it, figure out the end how many don't get played. It's a problem if it's a lot, then, probably need to revisit it. If 10 minutes out of 3,000, then
Well, you
we're
can
gonna
see
worry about it.
on the screen as I'm scrolling, and almost all of these are either the January or February. There may
How
be
many? What's it?
I may have mentioned.
3,500.
That's what we're standing with so far, and I think only one of these is not from the January or February.
So it's a huge issue.
It
It
is,
does matter to some teams.
to some teams, it means whether they're promoted or relegated. Because
Well, can then the deadline? It's a March 31st deadline for another couple of weeks for the sake of getting a game in that's going to factor into a promotion or relegation.
Well, we could, but we're probably not, you probably couldn't get a board, you probably couldn't get a win on a majority on a board to vote for that suggestion.
since we've told some people that the season ends March 31st.
Yeah, and we're trying to bring something to an end. Some of these, even if we extend it, still aren't going to get played.
Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot we can do. I mean, we've had a real rainy weather winter. It's just been unfortunate.
Let's come up with something, if both agree to not play, then it's a no game. Well, we've done that, right? But if one wants
Yeah.
to and the other doesn't, the other has the option to do a forfeit, but don't sign it. We do that too. I've done that all, that I've already done. We've got several in. So then why don't you just do that for this?
Okay, so Farmington wants to play, but they won't play on the 21st, because this is the time to play.
Right.
The other team cannot play on the 21st because they're in, Georgia, they're already scheduled.
Then it's a forfeit.
And they made those plans a long time ago.
Yeah, that's the point.
The rule of the game states that the other team has to be on the field.
No, not unless we give a forfeit win. We can give a
What Sherry's saying is the one that has a need sets a date and the other one to do it. It's not fair, we can do that.
It's forcing because you're telling them.
If they could have played, they would have already scheduled, we're assuming they want to play and they could play, but they can't play. They have alternate day. And then I can't play that.
Oh, no, they have an alternate.
I mean,
I thought they
they're
just
saying, I
didn't
can't do it
wanna
on this day and you
Yes.
can't do it here.
Yeah, if they can't do it on the same day. And we've got several where we don't have a game, it's like this one here. Florida declined to reschedule the game and said, I want to give Charlotte a 3-0 win. Gave Charlotte 3 points. I didn't realize that the other team also wanted to play.
They would have played, but there's only one weekend, one weekend and one is
But
another.
next weekend, they can't play the weekend.
And it's partly because it's so late in the month.
But it's just they give like a tie for that. Fair.
No, but that wouldn't be fair to the
That would
teams.
equal,
Because that would give them, so that might move over, well, they moved over, I'm saying, it's like a, you make a movie or something. You can be effective.
Whatever we do with it now,
Well, I think it's, now it's gonna be benign neglect. But that session, no one had a better idea either. Really, no one could come up with anything that made sense, move these things together, and somebody if they don't do it. Basically, we're talking about, you're gonna do it on this date or else.
You can't do that. You can't tell them or else. Because,
Nobody thinks you can, that's true. I agree with that, but I mean, we can propose that if you want to. If someone could come up with some brilliant thing that everyone says, that's a good idea, maybe we can do that, that's what we do with this thing.
Trying to look for something that defies the laws of physics.
Right.
I mean, you're talking about two teams that can't do the same day.
This is because it's so late in the season, they got very few options. But if we're, what if we're December, most things come up. We don't have many dragging around.
yeah, if it was earlier in the year, you'd say, look, you got plenty of time. But you're talking about 3 weeks, 2 weeks, whatever.
Yeah. It's such a short time frame.
The only thing,
what was that game actually scheduled to play and got canceled? What date?
What do you mean, this one here? The one you're talking about? Wait, we're on 2020,
23, 40.
on 2020.
790 the fields.
I'm not sure here, let's see. It was, canceled on 2/28. Yeah, it's the 2/28 game. I'm gonna go down here and look at the chat. 23, 40,
Group,
17 boys.
yeah, they reset the game probably. They set it originally from the fall to Saturday. Supposedly a safe date.
And there's, I'm gonna have to go to Tuesday.
That doesn't matter. I mean, we leave this one alone and say, look, if you can't find a suitable date, it's a non-game, it's not a tie, there's nothing, no points, no nothing.
And the thing, we know one wants to play the game.
Agreed. Then agreed.
In October was when they agreed to play this March date. It was in October. That's when they agreed to do it.
Reasonable.
And October they made that decision. And I don't remember what the reason was, because it doesn't tell us that here. But it was,
So we're leaving this one, let's get out of this one, 23:45, we're not doing anything. Benign neglect, we're just sitting alone and asking them, please try and make this up.
okay, all right, I'm gonna go over this.
Paul, I gotta go. My battery's going dead. If you want me to be in on the meeting still, if you want to put me on a speakerphone, just call me on my cell
We're down
phone.
to the last gasp here, we want the proposed
Okay.
215 rule changes, we'll get to.
Other questions, just,
We'll
I'll
get
be
them
back.
out. And if you've got some other, just get them in there. The one that we haven't.
I don't know how we're gonna handle it. Okay, I just wanna go over these. Now, 2009,
All right.
we're just going to punish the coach, not the kid, right?
Correct. Team who's gonna punish them, correct, rest of the season, next season?
We're gonna work on a letter and do that. Hopefully they'll follow through. Now, 406, TVU no-show, North Lake.
No forfeit removed.
What's the forfeit?
No.
Leave work.
No, that's what we decided.
I make sure, because okay, 5, we're gonna then reschedule because there was notification.
Yep.
3:45, find a date, or
Right.
agree, or there's no date.
790, we're letting them reschedule.
Yeah, kind of what we think. I need the 0-0 there to like hear from somebody, because those two teams were notified at 0-0-4, they didn't complain.
That's right. They didn't play.
And they didn't play, so it shouldn't be 0-0.
Because it does give points to each guy. And
It does. It should be there. Put down 38, but I sent it to you, and that's where the teams were begging to play, and they told them, you can't play that day, because you can't referee, and then they.
That's right, that's right.
And sent it to you, and then they
scheduled?
No, they
Yeah.
did.
Okay.
I sent you the report from the referee with a spectator problem.
What teams?
FC Tampa. Hold on, 38.
Rangers?
I know that's FC Tampa.
I'm thinking of maybe yes.
No, I have to pull this up. Give me a minute.
I don't think they're in that.
But it's like, they begged to have this, and Houston Dynamo, they begged this game be scheduled on Saturday.
Neil said he could not find referees, the last thing I saw.
Right, and what happened was,
I don't have it.
so that they moved the game till 4 o'clock, when a crew did the 2 o'clock game, could now do the 4 o'clock game. They did 12.
So Neil found some referees by moving them in.
Pretty much the teams did, you know, but,
Maybe Jim or Neil.
yeah, they agreed to it, they scheduled the rest. And it would have been Yanni, not Neil, Yanni, because it was at Houston Dynamo. Yanni's the assignment there. Anyways, it was the crew that did the 2 o'clock game, who had also done Region Cup games that morning. So, and it's what, they told us, what's happening is we got referees doing too many games.
But what is the, what shot of did the ref report anybody? Did he
He
get?
sent the game report.
All right.
So, I mean, it's just pretty much spectator garbage.
All right. So for us to do.
It's
Next.
just,
Right, we done?
parents were issued.
I'll find that tomorrow. Was it the Rangers though? I'll find that tomorrow.
I emailed it to you, I don't remember.
I'll find it. When did you email it to? I didn't see anything about the Rangers.
Let me read to it. I just sent it to Paul because he's the
Well, I'm not really.
you're the contact.
President.
Yeah, it was.
All right. I'll just send, I'll forward it to Mike though. He